G'day fellas. Welcome to the 7th game in the series between Harrison and nOel. Spawning in the south of the map is Harrison, playing the British. In the north of the map, his opponent, nOel, playing the Inca. nOel starting out with a nice in-base 50 food treasure. Going to be playing the Inca here for us today. So we haven't seen the Inca yet in this series. We have seen the British once before. They were played against the Dutch on the Haudenosaunee map. So we'll take a look at the treasures that are out on the map here. We've got Harrison moving out towards a 40 wood treasure. We'll take a look what else there is. There's a 100 food treasure, definitely a great treasure on this map. Another 50 food treasure here as well as a 20 XP and 20 coin treasure. On the other side, we've got the 50 coin treasure, as well as an 80 coin treasure. We've got Zoe's cookbook, which gives the 5 population extra, as well as another 50 coin. So we've got like we've got the coin treasures up here to the north, the food treasures towards the south, and in the middle of the map, we've got the 80 wood, which is a big boy, a wounded tiger, and that's pretty much it. So judging by the start of the game, I would definitely say that in this matchup, it's definitely a little bit more favored towards the Inca player, typically because the jungle bowman is very, very, very strong in this matchup. So British don't really have an answer to the jungle bowman other than hussars. They can't make their own. If they make their own longbow against jungle bowman, they're just going to lose. The jungle bowman is a very, very potent age 2, age 3 unit. And as a result, it means that they are really good at fighting up against the British. That's probably the best way to say it. We've now got Harrison, so dropping down that trading post. So that to me indicates that Harrison is going to want to be investing in the Virginia Company. We'll take a look at his deck. We'll see what he's got. He's got a deck that's called 1v1 VC, so sending in the 3 villages as his first shipment. Probably going to be sending in Virginia Company as his second. Everything else in this deck is looking absolutely beautiful. So Harrison really on point with his deck creation. Now, we don't have any Jaegers in here, but we wouldn't expect any Jaegers just because our opponent doesn't particularly have a strong unit that is going to be, you know, dishing out a lot of damage in the same way that a civilization like the Swedes would be doing with their Carolean. So now we've got a little bit of a tussle happening at the bottom. We've got the Incan explorer chasing around the explorer of the British, and we can see that Harrison is just being a very cheeky boy. Just saying, you want to follow me, that's fine. You can follow me all day. And oh, he's juked him out, trying to do his best. Now getting a shot. Oh my God, Harrison, you are just a big brain player. Noel just giving up, saying, you know what, I'm going to walk away. Harrison saying, I'm just going to give you a nice little bit of a shot as you do it. Shooting him in the back of the head. Harrison with the lull in the chat. Yeah, I got to agree with you, Harrison. That was pretty good. I liked that. 3 villagers now coming in for Harrison. We'll take a look over at nOel and see what he's up to. Sending in the Queen's Festival, so going to be giving him those 4 villagers from the big button from the Cancha. Also sending in exotic hardwoods. So this has become a recently meta card, exotic hardwoods, for the Incas. That's about the best thing that they can do. When you think about it, okay, it's 20% gather rate to their villagers on wood. And in the transition period, okay, it's a longer transition period, like 90 seconds. It's equivalent to roughly a little bit over 3 villages, 3.2 villages. So it's definitely not bad because all of your villages are going to be on wood. So you're basically working at close to 20 villages for the Inca in the early game when you've got them all over on wood. So definitely a reasonable thing to send. Also picking up that 80 wood treasure outside Harrison's base, so a nice pickup there for him. We'll take a look at what else he's got in the deck. Also got Llama Lifestyle. Definitely something I've been doing a little bit more of lately is my Llama Lifestyle. So it doubles the effectiveness of llamas at the community plaza. We've also got the Chincha Brewing in here, which is also almost a mandatory card, going to be increasing the rate of food generation for your canchas. We've got double upgrades and a Jungle Bowman upgrade. So we've got 2 Jungle Bowman upgrades in here. So definitely got the right choices, and additional 3rd upgrade for the Jungle Bowman as well. So really going all out with that. Now keep in mind, triple upgrades for the Chimu as well. So we've got the road building, which increases the military speed by 10%, as well as the Chimu runner hit points, which also enables them to snare. And then also the military combat. So a lot of upgrades. Actually, that's a 4th upgrade in there for the Jungle Bowman. So 1, 2, 3. I didn't realize Jungle Bowman can actually get that many upgrades. That's insane. So they've got 4 upgrades. So no wonder they are just so potent. They are very, very strong. And so this matchup now, moving into the transition period, we can see that he's going up with the Chief, nOel is. So is he going to be dropping down an outpost? We see him hovering around this northern trading post. One of the options that he's got is potentially putting down a trading post here, but I do suspect this is a little bit too close to the town center of Harrison. Interestingly, this trading post up here is probably, might be a little bit too close to that town center as well. But normally with the Inca players, typically they want to be taking a trading post in the middle of the map so that they can forward. So one of the things that we could see is a potential Tambo coming down on either of these trading posts. Obviously, you can't do this one because this one's got a trading post on it already. So this one over here, and then using that as a shipment point, and then sending out your wagons out to the middle of the map. But it works out to be roughly about the same distance from the town center. So probably going to be playing a bit more of a passive game, I would suspect. I'll take a look back over at Harrison. We'll see what he's up to. He's almost got that age up now, going up with the governor, I suspect. No, going up with the philosopher prince. So going to be grabbing that 500 food from the age up. We'll speed it up a little bit. Those villagers walking over a little bit slowly. 700 wood is going to be the first shipment that he is opting to send through. Now, keep in mind, he did send Virginia Company in the first age. So going to be opting to do a nice, big, bad Virginia boom in the second age. Dropping down another mana. He's got 8 manas out at the moment. They're doing a beautiful amount of herding right there as well. Just very, very cute from Harrison. Feels bad when you scout the wrong direction. Indeed it does, nOel. Indeed it does. We'll take a look at nOel, see exactly what he's talking about. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about scouting his own base. I'm not too sure exactly, but he's sending in 600 wood behind this. And take a look at all of his villages are just on wood. And this is what I was talking about, why exotic hardwoods is so good, because you've just simply got so much wood that you need in the early game, and it enables you to collect that wood a lot faster. In fact, 20% faster, because that's exotic hardwoods, baby. All right, and now that next shipment going to be coming in. I don't think we're going to be seeing 600 wood. I think we're going to see Chincha Brewing coming in after that. Let's take a look. It's pretty much the standard opening for any kind of build order that focuses on getting out a lot of cancer houses in the early game. nOel now going behind the base. Now, he would know, yeah, there it is. The Chicha Brewing is coming in. Is it Chicha or Chincha? It's Chicha Brewing. So now we see that that he should know that Virginia Company is on the menu for Harrison just because of the opening trading post. The tempo as well, going down in the north of the map. So 600 wood now being collected up by the villagers, we can see. Going to be dropping down the extra cancer houses, so both players opting for their respective house booms. Harrison doing well, he's up to 140 population. We're just a bit shy of 6 minutes right now. 16 houses have been dropped down in total. He's got enough wood here to drop down all of his houses. I love this nice little wall that's coming down from Harrison as well. So really just locking himself in here. Got some beautiful line of sight menas coming out over to the side. Going to prevent any potential raids coming through unnoticed. So definitely like that a lot from Harrison. He's got all 20 mana houses now going in and being created. So we're at the 6-minute 11 mark. So pretty decent timing from him. Also doing the 5 settlers from the home city. So going to have a very nice boom in here. Any second now, he's going to be up over 40 settlers. And we're only at 6 minutes. So definitely not too bad. We take a look at the market now going down for nOel on the front lines. A little bit of a curious market placement. Almost looks like a bit of a forward market. Going to get those market researchers right in the face of the opponent. Probably see those hunting dogs coming in straight away. We do see the 50 coin has been gathered up, and that's exactly what we see. Hunting dogs now coming in. A couple of idle villagers as well, just sitting idle, having finished making cancer houses, and all cancer houses are now up at 6 minutes 30 for each player. Now, when it comes to boom versus boom, who is more powerful? I would definitely say that at this point, the British player is going to be a bit more powerful than the Inca player. If I was going to do an unimpeded British boom versus an unimpeded Inca boom, I'd rather be the British player, and you can just see the difference right now. So we've got 45 villages, or 46 villages now out for Harrison at the 7-minute mark, which is not too bad at all. And we compare that to his opponent, who's sitting on 20 villages and 13 cancers. Now, the cancers work out roughly to be, if I remember correctly, it's 13 times 0.9. So it's about 14 villages, 14 unupgraded villages. So it's about 35 villages. So at this point, nOel is about 10 villages, 11 villages behind where Harrison is behind. So it's one of those things where I think it really just comes down to the map and the fact that it's a bit of a difficult map to play for Inca because there's no real natural trading post place that you can be taking it down. There's no trading post in the middle here that you can just very easily ship your war huts to the Tambo. So it means that it's a little bit more difficult for Inca to be playing this matchup, and we can just see that reflected in the score right now. So British obviously does overscore quite a bit, but 3.7k difference in score at this point. Now nOel now training a bunch of we've got a bunch of plumed spearmen that are about to come out. So there they are, plumed spearmen going to be out moving towards this trading post, I'd suspect. I can't imagine that they'd be going anywhere else, maybe towards the forward market, but let's take a look and see if we can spot where they're going. I see a waypoint down here, so probably moving down towards the south, or definitely moving down towards the south. They're going with road building. I do like this. I think that road building is definitely a great opening to go, because once you get this shipment in, it's in for the rest of the game. You don't have to worry about it. That extra 10% really going to help you out. And also got the Chimu runners as well, so not something that I expected. I expected that we'd probably see a bit more mass orientated towards jungle bowmen So curious to see. We might speed it up a little bit as well, just because, oh my god, take a look at this macro from Harrison. Harrison collecting the 700 coin off the ground, going to be going up with that semi-FF, that very toxic 48 villager semi-FF at 8 minutes. Very, very nice with the Virginia company. Getting his great coat upgrade in as well, so he's going to be absolutely fine from any potential raids with the Chimmy runners. And we see some Chimmy runners just coming around the edges of the map. Edges of the line of sight, rather. Looks like they're going to be able to sneak through a hole just here in the barracks. They do indeed. And 5 longbowmen going to be getting picked up carefully. Now the Chimmy runners... I love that nOel has just told the Chimmy runners to come down here, and they've just worked their way through the barracks and finally made their way over, ignoring all the enemy units. You know, not really reacting to it. Not even dying at this point. Like, we've still got 2 HP on this bad boy right here. And now we've seen the pikemen beginning to siege down the trading post, as well as a tambo being taken to the north as well. So I do suspect we're going to be looking at a potential stagecoach play from nOel. Chimmy runners now on the back line, going to be taking out a couple of villagers, at least one going to be going down. The great coat wasn't so great for that villager, unfortunately. Potentially going to be greater for these villagers here as they get their melee in. And we've got an explorer that now gets in on the action, throwing down a bit of a melee hit, trying to do some snaring, but you got to remember, Harrison, that these Chimmy runners do not get snared, my friend. They are running away scot-free. And now we've got more units beginning to burn their way in. Villagers getting chased away by the enemy explorer as well. And we have got a bit of action that's going on right now. We'll transfer over to nOel, see what he's up to. Looks like he's going to be macroing for that dirty, toxic semi-fortress that we always talk about as being one of the most potent strategies. And here we see exactly why that is. Early pressure now combined with a tech advantage, as well as focusing on the economy in the backline, really means that Harrison is going to be in a difficult spot here, because nOel is just going to be all over him once he reaches the Fortress Age. Now, obviously, Harrison is going up himself to the Fortress Age, going up with the Adventurer, which I believe is the 7 longbows. I'm going to have to confirm that, but we've got some more villagers now going down. Harrison, you've got to be careful. I know that you've got a lot of villagers, but there's no reason to just be getting rid of them like that. We've got Minutemen being called as well. Longbowmen on the back line going to be opening fire. And now going up, we've got the 7 longbows coming out of the town center. So a huge, massive longbows, 22 longbows at this point. We'll take a look and see what Harrison sends through as the next card. I do suspect we're going to be seeing something like 2 falconets, potentially. Or we could be seeing Yeomen sent from the home city. I'm not even sure if he's got Yeomen in the deck. He doesn't. So doing a great job of microing here, just making sure that all of his longbows are getting a relatively nice volley off onto the Chimmy runners, and does indeed do that. Longbows looking great. Handling this nice little push, avoiding losing a lot of villagers. I think he's probably lost about 3 or 4 villagers here, so not the worst. Still going to be ahead when it comes to economy. And sending in 8 villagers first. Holy moly. Just when you thought you couldn't be any greedier, Harrison, with the Virginia company opening, you send through 8 villagers. I'm not sure whether that's going to be the right decision or not, but we will see if time does tell. And now we've got nOel going up with the messenger on the back line. Looking pretty safe over in nOel's base. Not a lot to be worried about for him, I would say. He's got the stagecoach upgraded on the first line. Doesn't look like he's upgrading it on the second line. Keep in mind that he doesn't have access to this trading post just yet. Probably needs to be placing a tambo down on it sooner rather than later. Try and get that stagecoach up if he does so want to. We take a look back at Harrison. Still sitting with a couple of idle villagers. Got to pick those up. It's always harder when you're playing in a competitive match like this. Your villagers are going to go idle and you're not going to notice them a little bit more. 8 villagers going to come in. This feels amazing when you look at it. Here they come. 8 villagers popping out. Oh, isn't that just absolutely divine for Harrison? Up to 55 villagers now, more than halfway towards that 100, and he's only at the 11-minute mark. A single Hussar coming out now, doing a little bit of miss macro. Probably needs to be creating a few more villagers. We've got a third barracks now coming up for Harrison. We don't see any upgrades that are in queue, and we've got a town center getting dropped down on the bottom side. He's cancelled the town center and said, hold on a minute. I'm going to just make an outpost instead. Probably the right call, Harrison. Honestly, at this point, you're already up a significant amount when it comes to your economy. You've just sent 8 villagers. You probably don't need to invest in a second town center just yet. If this was a team game, I would say the town center was the right choice. But I think at this point, an outpost is probably going to be sufficient down here towards the south. I'd love to see a few more either pikes or some longbows coming out. I do know that we've got the muskets, but we don't have all those upgrades for the musketeers just yet. We didn't stay in age 2 to ship them in. We kind of went up to the 3rd age, so it means that units like the longbow are going to be a little bit stronger. And now we've got Chimmy runners moving in. These are upgraded elite Chimmy runners, just running in, picking off the villager and just running away. So very, very cheeky coming in from nOel and doing that. So a really nice spot from him to pick up this wall. He's going to know that Harrison wants to try and secure this area for himself. He's going to know that he doesn't really have access to many other coin mines. He's got access to this one and the one in the base, but those are going to run out shortly, and he's doing a great job of controlling all the resources on the map. He's got access to this one, or line of sight of this one, as well as line of sight of this one eventually when he runs over it. So he knows that from Harrison's perspective, he's going to have to look for coin eventually. So we'll speed up the game. We see that 2 town centers is going to be the next card that gets sent in from the homesteady. So he's already sent in the fort. The fort is now in on the back line as well. This is going to be doing a lot of protecting. The 2 falconets of Harrison do get sent into that outpost, and Harrison begins sieging away at the Tambo. Tambo has got a ranged attack of 5, but not a huge amount, and that Hussar now going down in the base of nOel. We've got Minutemen that are moving forward, going to be taken out by the ranged attack of the Incan fort. A second Incan fort has now been discovered as well. So Harrison should know that he needs to be gearing up for the late game. We're probably going to have to get some mortars out to deal with this. Otherwise, your option is to deal with a falconet. But the problem is that these guys do have upgrades, and their range is going to be increased significantly as it gets upgraded. Now the Chimu's on the back line. Looking like they're wanting to get a little bit of siege on this wall. So this wall doing a great job. Let's just talk a little bit about this wall and how important it is. And Harrison just... Oh, Harrison, you've made a huge mistake. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if anybody witnessed what just happened there, Harrison connected this wall to the front wall, and this wall right here basically said that, sent the message to the game that all of these walls are now under construction, and immediately just destroy all of these walls because of the siege damage coming out from the Chimu. So a huge mistake from Harrison. Even though he was trying to be very smart and protect his villagers, he's now just been responsible for their untimely deaths. So I hate to see genocide, but unfortunately Harrison is responsible for it today, dropping down now below 55 villagers that we did see him at earlier. A couple more villagers out here. I definitely think that the Chimu runners could be staying around and collecting these villagers up. An unfortunate bug that is I wouldn't say necessarily taken advantage of there, but an unfortunate bug that occurs to Harrison there, and that wall forcing all of the adjoining walls to be burnt down to the ground immediately. So quite a big bug that is responsible for the deaths of many a villager. Harrison still ahead in score at this point, closing in the gap. nOel is sitting now on 3 town centers. He's got his 3rd town center up, 4th town center up rather. I take it back. So we've got 4 town centers now in total for nOel. He's looking very commanding at this point, sending in some jungle bowmen. I'm not sure exactly where they came in. They came in over at this Tambo over here, so a little bit of a strange spot to be sending jungle bowmen. I don't know exactly why they're going down over there. And now we've got Chimu runners on the front line. I would have loved to have seen the jungle bowmen just transported to the front here. They'd be doing a lot of work. Chimu runner now going to be on top of the musket rider, or on top of the muskets rather, and trying to do their best to get this damage in, but just with no DPS behind them, it means it's more of a difficult counter for them. And definitely at this point, I would say that Harrison looks to be in a great position, and we see that the fort is now taking down the falconet of Harrison. He looks like he's just lost two falconets for free, essentially. The jungle bowman now falling out of the fort, but at what cost? I mean, when you consider that a fort for the Inca player is only 700 resources, and taking out a 2 falconet shipment, which is, 2 falconets plus an artillery foundry, that's a lot of resources that you've really just thrown away there. You've got so much tempo with those 2 units, and unfortunately you've lost them now. So a difficult spot for Harrison, despite him being ahead for what I would have thought was most of the game already, 15 minutes. I would say that this is actually the turning point, losing those falconets. Elite jungle bowman now coming out, sitting on the back line. Chimu runner running in. We'll take a look and see what upgrades we've got. We've got no upgrades except for the Chimu support that's going to be coming in. He doesn't have the melee infantry combat just yet, but we've got the Explorer tanking a lot of damage, 2.48, so he is in cover mode, going to be taking 50%, and we see those big arrows coming out from the fort. They look so beautiful when they come out. You can see they kind of look like Age of Empires 2 arrows. I'd love to... There they go, taking out another unit. They just look really, really nice. There's more arrows coming out. Look at the AOE that they do on them. I love the way that the fort fires its arrows, and they just look so darn beautiful, don't they? Oh my gosh, they are really, really nice. Look at that, just, oh my gosh, taking an arrow to the knee and just falling down. War Chief finally going down as well, slowly regenerating its health on the back line. 23 jungle bowmen, and this is a really difficult spot for Harrison, rather. Harrison needs to work out what he's going to be doing against these forts. In my opinion, you've got 2 options against these forts when you see them. When you see your opponent going for 2 forts like this, your first option, counter artillery. So you just go, you drop an artillery foundry, and you say, you know what? You want to make forts? That's fine. I'll make artillery. And you just make like 5 falconets, you ship 2 from the home city, and you just push into the enemy base, and you just destroy it. The second option that you've got is you can go to the industrial age. So you can go to the industrial age, send in your 2 factories, get a head start on your economy, focus on your economy, and then eventually get those rockets start rolling and still focus on siege as well. That's it. But we do actually see Harrison now dropping down the artillery foundry. We've now got, we might speed it up a little bit as we see that these villagers are getting slowly poked down by the Tambo. We've got some musketeers up on the back line that are dying now to Chimu riders. Or to rather Chimu runners. Not sure exactly what they were doing right there. Harrison's now retaken the trading post. Now keep in mind this trading post is a stagecoach trading post, so quite a good trading post for him to be taking. We take a look now as he positions himself more towards the north side of the map. A couple villages out here. Is Harrison going to spot it? Harrison doesn't spot the few villages that are on the back line. Oh, I think he might have actually. No, he doesn't. He does not spot it, so we'll return back over to Harrison's point of view. If he was paying attention, he... Actually, I can't even see it. Hold on. Where are those villagers gathering? Why can't... Harrison can't see those... Oh my god, it's right on the edge. I don't think he could see it. Oh, that's terrible. Terribly unlucky for him. Alright, and now we move forward ever so slightly. Harrison now taking the native trading post. We'll take a look and see the technologies that are available to him. The first one is Sharia. Sufi scholars provide education about Islamic law, increasing village limit by 10%. The next one is... Fasting. Implementation of daily fasting decreases villager hit points but increases all the gather rates. So that's gather rates for everything. That's mills, estates, trees, mines, berry bushes, cherry orchards, you name it, it's included in that. But it is like, it's a reduction in significant villager hit points. And then the final one is pilgrimage. Pilgrimage to the Mecca provides approximately 1 fattened goat for every 2 minutes of the game. So that's 9 fattened goats. So not too bad. That Sufi mosque definitely going to be doing a lot of work for Harrison. We take a look back over at the perspective of nOel, sending in that melee infantry combat. And oh, this is exactly what we wanted to see. A huge swing for artillery. This is exactly the way that he needs to be playing it. But take a look now. This is the problem, okay? Here, the fort has now been upgraded. It's got 27 range on it, which outrange a falconet. So this falconet can be targeted down by the fort. He needs to be targeting this middle falconet. It's going to be doing a whole lot of damage. I want to see him shooting it down. It doesn't look like it looks like he's just doing a bit of damage to the front one. And you want to be putting all of your army inside this. We see those arrows going off. Unfortunately for nOel, it looks like he's not going to be able to pick off any of the falconets. And calling a whole bunch of plume spearmen now to the front. First falconet's going to be going down. Second falconet going down. Third falconet's getting surrounded as well by the Chimu runners. Fourth falconet looks to be quite well protected, but it is still getting hit by those Chimu runners, so not doing a perfect job. The veteran hussars are on the front line as well, but they're fighting up against the plume spearmen. We hear the native Inca voices just on the back line now. The jungle spearmen, the jungle bowmen, dealing with the hussars without too much of an issue, and it looks like nOel is definitely pulling ahead. At this point, with the 4 town centers down, I would say that if we were to do a stock take at this point, the 51 villages plus 4 town centers puts him ahead significantly when it comes to tempo on economy. But we see tempo with regard to the game, and Harrison is still doing relatively well. He's got a whole lot of musketeers that are out here. I'd love to see some more reinforcing falconets coming through. We've got 2 more in queue at this point in time. 64 villages, no villages in queue at this point. Harrison not even sending in any of the cards in the third age, like refrigeration or cavalry combat, just going straight for musketeer damage. So a little bit of a curious choice, especially when your opponent's got such a mass of bowmen like this. I'd want to avoid training any more musketeers, but at the same time, I appreciate it is necessary, because your opponent is going to be making those Chimu runners. Losing a couple of musketeers up the north now, a little bit needlessly. 3 musketeers going down. And the 3 falconets, this is where the swing begins. Needs to be pull tricking these falconets up, really making sure that they're able to connect. A significant mass now for nOel. 31 jungle bowmen, and definitely in a difficult spot. I would say that the tempo has definitely switched out. Now we see 5 priestesses coming in as well from nOel. The town center. Oh, Harrison, you got to be careful. Harrison, what are you doing, mate? Oh, and now he's brought in all of his muskets, putting them into melee. First goes down. The first falconet goes down. The second one almost going down. And the third one looking like it's probably going to get connected on as well. So unfortunate micro rather from Harrison at that point. And it looks like Harrison's going to have to walk away with his tail between his legs once again. So now we're gonna speed up the game just a little bit at this point, because I can already tell you what's going to happen right here. All the artillery is dead, and I feel like at this point Harrison probably should have gone 4th age. Let's take a look and see what he's up to. He's actually getting the pilgrimage from the Sufi mosque, so going to be getting, I suspect, a whole bunch of goats, Where do the goats come in? Let's take a look and see. The goats are coming down to the outpost now. So he's going to be able to use these goats to leverage the food that they've got and see if he can swing out some more units potentially, or potentially move up to the next age. It looks like he's actually sending in 4 hussars from the home city, so he's got 5 as well as 4 hussars. So sending them in, so suboptimal unit shipment, as well as losing a couple villages. We take a look back over at his opponent, who's sitting on 45 or 47 villages at the moment. But keep in mind, he's got those 4 town centers. So doing a decent job of holding now. So losing that that second fort, it's going to put him in a bit of a difficult spot, but he doesn't need it at this point. At this point, he's got a large enough mass of jungle bowmen. 32 jungle bowmen are going to be more than enough to deal with this, and I'll explain to you guys exactly why that is. You remember earlier in the game, he sent road building. This means the jungle bowmen have got 4.95 movement speed. These guys are so quick. Now, they outrange musketeers by 5. It's 12 versus 17. There is never going to be a time where these musketeers catch these jungle bowmen, ever. There's never going to be a time, and he can infinitely kite them forever because he's faster than them, and he's quicker than them, and he can't possibly be beaten. So now we speed it up a little bit. Chimera runners chasing the hussar around the town center. And finally going to be putting down a third fort for the game. So these forts do go up very, very slowly. Explorer on the wrong side. Probably want to have the Explorer over on this side, but I think he's going to be in a position where he's able to defend this Explorer if worse comes to worse. Now, all of the villagers being trained out of the town center, so up to 53 villages for nOel. We take a look at Harrison. We see he's sitting on 63 now. He's doing a great job actually researching fasting. So his villagers now, if we take a look, Harrison has forgotten to research his greatcoats, and he's only got 142 health. Not really, he hasn't forgotten. He's actually researched his greatcoats. Because if he hadn't researched his greatcoats, his villagers would have even less health. They'd have, I think, 90 HP. So that is why we're seeing that less than 104 or less than 150 HP for the British player. So fasting is, keep in mind, fasting is going to increase the rate at which he gathers, though. So we see that the gathering rate is significantly higher than what it normally would be, including for things like picking up the goats. So the gathering rate is 2.2 instead of at 2. So now the last of the goats have been picked up. I'd love to see him just cancel out these units and just go 4th age. But I guess realistically, he doesn't have things like the 3 rockets in here. 3 rockets would definitely be able to swing the tide a lot more. We speed it up just a little bit. Take a look what nOel's doing. nOel is training some priestesses. This is something you don't see a lot, but I suspect he's going to be using them over on his own, his community plaza. I was going to say a fire pit, but that's not the case. And now Harrison moving in again for another push this game. He's got a whole bunch of veteran hussars beginning to siege down the Incan fort. Incan fort sitting on the back line. It's got a lot of HP as well as a lot of range, so going to be able to dish out some damage. And finally, the Chimera runners are now able to snare as well. So the Chimera runners have received their upgrade from the home city. So we take a look and see they've got their melee infantry combat upgrade. And one of the things to note, okay, despite this large mass of Incan jungle bowmen, that we don't have any upgrades yet for the jungle bowmen, the jungle bowmen, with the exception of the Kajamata support. So we've got Curare, which hasn't been sent. That's a 25% all action damages increase. We've also got the ranged infantry hit points and the ranged infantry attack that haven't been sent yet and potentially could to further buff these up. So they're already incredibly strong. They're going to become even stronger as the game goes on. We see that nOel is now beginning to break away with score, up more than 4,000 or 3,000 points now. He's definitely in a good position, I would say that much, and Chimera Runner's definitely looking good. A lack of raiding that's going on in the mid-game from nOel, but I don't think that's really a bad thing, primarily because he's got 4 town centers up. He opted to send 2 town center Travars as one of his first shipments in the 3rd age. If not, I think it was actually... No, it was the 2nd shipment. He sent it after the fort. So he went fort into 2 town centers. So that's exactly why we've seen a bit more of a passive play. Now, finally moving out with the Falconets. I don't think Harrison has realized that the Falconets are outranged by the fort. The fort is going to be able to deal with these Falconets. So if we take a look here, we are going to see the fort beginning to shoot down the Falconets. The more units in here, the better. So let's see. Now it's shooting out. So we can see the Falconet has to retreat. He can't deal with it. The fort has got its upgrade. It's got that additional range from the upgrade, and it means that there's nothing he can do. So I know you might be thinking at this point, okay, but what about some petards? What about some more falconets? The issue is that if you've got 5 falconets or something like that, and then you push up with a whole bunch of petards to the front here, Inca very easily changes the rally point on this, moves it to the front, blocks the petards, kills the petards, and then goes back inside the fort, and then just kills it down. Now, you might get the fort down, but keep in mind, there's going to be a second fort right behind it. And then the explorer is going to be building a third fort back over here. So it's really just a matter of time until, you know, your forces are whittled down. But we still see that he is committing to the falconet attack. 5 falconets out, so definitely the right decision. If you're not going to go age 4, it's definitely the right thing. And now we see a huge charge coming in from Harrison. Harrison committing overly to this charge. If he's going to be positioning his units anywhere, he needs to position them between the 2 forts, because all of these units are going to be rushing out and trying to get over to this next fort, as we see what's happening right now. So now the Chimu runners are doing a little bit of a block, looking to get on the back line. Chimu runners running through. Look at the amazing pathing that they've got, just absolutely able to get through every single unit. Now on top of the falconets on the back line. Got a whole bunch of units here fighting it out, but the most important part are these falconets. First falconet going down. Looks like the second falconet has gone down. 3 falconet remain. Relatively high hit points. The fort has gone down as well. Really good micro from Harrison. Able to protect that up despite the amazing pathing there from the Chimus. And doing a really good job of cleaning it up. We've now got 6 Chimus running in from the north as well. Doing a great job of all that pathing was absolutely perfect on top of the falconet. Falconet trying to do its best to pack up, but it's not going to matter because this falconet that's next to it does go down. Second falconet almost going down as well. The jungle bowmen are significant enough that he's going to be able to fire down and focus this falconet down despite it being much stronger than it. And a single falconet now remaining, so going down from 6 down to a single falconet, and the falconet dies. And now we're in a difficult spot because nOel is pulling ahead. He's up 4k score now, 5k score as we see it begins to burgeon that gap. And nOel is in a good spot. He's up 72 villages compared to the 76 of his opponent, and 5 more falconets coming out. So I feel like Harrison is just, you know, people often ask me, Drongo, what's the definition of insanity? Well, my friends, it's trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Now, these 5 falconets are going to look darn beautiful when they get these volleys off, and that right there was absolutely gorgeous. 6 jungle bowmen going down. Oh my god, these volleys from Harrison are just looking beautiful. But now, unfortunately, we've got the Chimu runners that are running on top of the falconets, and just not enough muskets here to protect them. The Chimu runner's taking out the second falconet. How good is the micro from nOel? Can he take out the third falconet? He gets the third falconet. Fourth falconet now potentially going to be going down. Almost going down, 38 HP, so losing 3 falconets. That's 1,500 resources just going down just then. And now we see the jungle bowman moving back. More hussars coming out for Harrison. Harrison doing an absolute great job of trying to even this one up. Falconet on the back line. Explorer in cover mode on the front line. Going to be soaking up all that damage. Harrison's in a difficult spot. We see 112 population versus 126 of his opponent. Opponent now got a hell of a lot of vills on his war ceremony. And finally, that last falconet does go down. The Chimu runner's doing a great job, and now the tide of the battle has swung in the favor of nOel. And I suspect from here, we are potentially going to be seeing a good game called, just simply because there is so much tempo in the favor of nOel now. He's got those huge economy behind him. He's got these constant reinforcement batches that are coming through. He's got a lot of villages that are increasing the amount that he is dealing with regard to damage. We see that these bad boys are doing 35 damage each. Compared that to a hussar, hussar's only doing 40 damage. And Chimu runners are just a single population. So Harrison calling the good games. Well played. Over to Harrison. Well played to nOel. And that takes us, ladies and gentlemen, to match point. And actually, wait a minute. No, that's nOel actually winning. Congratulations over to nOel. nOel winning with a 3-point civilization. Congratulations to nOel. Winning this series up against Harrison. Harrison asking, is that for point? Yes, my friend. Yes, it is. I can tell you right now, yes, it is. Well played to nOel. Congratulations. I think we're going to just slowly play out the rest of this game. To be honest, I don't know how the scoring works. You were 6-7, 7-6 down. Let's watch what these players say. Maybe Harrison just doesn't give it up here. Maybe Harrison like continues on and fights for the rest of the game. Though I do suspect Inca 3 points. 8-7 up to Sweden. Inca 3 points. Inca 3 points, my friend. Maybe. I think you win 11-8. Maybe. I think, Harrison, you're right. Well, 11-7. 11-7. Because we did change some of the points being allocated. So, good game over to nOel. Good game over to Harrison. Congratulations to nOel. Picking up the prize money today in the epic series between the ESOC admins or the ESOC members. We'll take a look over at these the booms from each respective player. We see that Players are so even as they enter into the Fortress Age and they fight it out. Harrison slowly pulls ahead, but towards the end of the game, just managing to go idle and losing out a lot of resources, and as a result, means that he's losing the game. We take a look at the unit population, and we see these big fights that happen. Harrison up on 123 unit population, going down to 25, down to 23 at its lowest, whereas nOel sitting up at about 101, and then coming down to 45, down towards 41, eventually in the end of the game, managing to get it ahead. So absolutely well played. We take a look at villager population one last time, and we can really see that Harrison just putting on quite a good show for us in the early game, and a lot of raids coming through from nOel. So I'm not sure if we picked up all of these raids, but 1, 2, and then losing a couple villagers, going from 60 down to 54, losing a few more in here, and just losing villagers all throughout the game. So really well played to nOel. Fellas, I hope that you've enjoyed watching this series. If you haven't already, I encourage you to follow EGCTV. Get those notifications in for any of the events that are coming up. We've got plenty more action for you guys going to be coming up next week. Next week, we've got Fitzbro going up against Riot Coke.